So I just wrapped up my summer internship in investment banking, and it was intense, but I did learn a lot that I didn't know before I started. Going in, I believed all the stereotypes. 100-hour weeks, non-stop Excel modeling, and you had to be a finance wizard to even make it in the industry. However, I quickly found out that that is not the case necessarily. In this video, I'm gonna share the 5 main things I wish I would have known before my internship. So now, let's start with the first one. The first main lesson I learned is that it all depends on the group, not on the bank. When you're recruiting, you're thinking about the bulge brackets, the lead boutiques, but what you should be thinking about is what group within each bank you want to go to. To oversimplify it, I see it as a graph. In the y-axis, you have deal reps, and generally the more deals your group covers, the more you're gonna work. Just naturally, there's more work to be done. On the x-axis, you have a group that doesn't do as many deals. Maybe they do larger deals, but in smaller frequency. And these groups tend to have a better work-life balance. And by better, I mean leaving the office at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. and not working that many weekends. At the end, banking is banking and you're gonna have to put the hours in. You should definitely go with a group that meets some kind of combination that you like. If you wanna be a finance wizard and exit to private equity and you want all the deal reps, obviously you want a team that closes a lot of deals. If you just want some reps and you wanna have a decent life, then I would go to a group that maybe doesn't close as many deals, but focus more on coverage work, which is generally work that's less time pressing. What you definitely don't want is a group that doesn't close any deals and still makes you stay up every day till 4 a.m. and work on weekends for a pitch. In my opinion, that's just brutal and there's little upside to that. But I would say the main takeaway is don't focus on getting on a specific bank. Focus on really learning about the groups within each bank and getting into the group that you want. So the second one is the hours. And it's the fact that you don't really actually work 100 hours per week per se. So there's gonna be weeks that you're definitely gonna sit in front of your computer for more than 100 hours and it's gonna be brutal. But what I quickly realized is that you don't actually spend the 100 hours actually cranking and typing away at your computer. There is some downtime within that time. So generally you'll get an assignment, you'll complete it within a few hours, you'll submit it, and then it turns into a waiting game if you have no other staffings. That way it could be 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, or even an entire day. You never know. It's very unpredictable. In my case, there'd be days that I would show up to the office at 9 like a good intern. I probably wouldn't do anything until like 2 p.m. And then at 3 p.m. I would get comments, I would get another assignment, and maybe that assignment took me until 11 p.m. At 11 p.m. I would send it for review, for comments, and then you kind of have to wait to see if you're gonna get comments that same night or if you can go home and just sleep until the next day. But for example, in that day, I technically worked from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., which is around 14 hours, but I actually worked from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., which is a normal 8-hour day. The problem is that you have to be in the office during the day, so you do feel like you're on the entire day, even though you technically only worked the 8 hours from 3 to 11 p.m. So I think that's one of the tough parts about banking is that it's very unpredictable. It's not like at 5 p.m. you punch out and you're like, oh, my shift ended, I'll talk to you tomorrow. You always have to answer. But I will say most of the times you're not actually typing away in your computer for 100 hours straight. The third point is that you don't actually need to be a finance or accounting wizard to make it out during your summer internship. During my first year at Booth, I took all the accounting, all the finance classes because I wanted to be prepared technically for when I joined the bank. What I quickly found out and what a lot of people had told me is that in your first few weeks during the internship and depending on the bank, you're not really going to be building complex financial models. You're not really going to need that much finance or accounting experience. You're going to be doing PowerPoint tables, moving logos around, making company profiles, making easy things that you can't really mess up. Then as you gain more trust, you might be trusted to go into the Excel backup and update a number, get data from a website and create a graph. But mostly you're going to be doing basic stuff that you don't really need an MBA for. And as long as you know PowerPoint and Excel at a basic level, you'll be able to figure it out. What I will say is that if you're super ambitious and want to prepare, I would recommend doing the Wall Street Prep PowerPoint and Excel courses. It's not a sponsored video, but I really liked them and they really helped during the summer, especially the PowerPoint one. I learned a ton of things that made my job a lot easier, and it makes you a lot faster. So I will say for the internship, you definitely don't need to be a finance or accounting wizard, but you definitely need to know your PowerPoint and a little Excel. So the fourth one is gonna be the more cliche of the video and the one that you always hear, but it really does matter, and that is the people. So banking is a very intense job. You might be in the office 10, 11, 12 hours a day, and it can get brutal at some points. I would say the main differentiator between my friends that did the internship was the people they were with. If you were at a group that people were not willing to answer questions and everything just felt uptight and tense, those people had a more tough experience than other people that their group was happy to help. They took the time to explain things. It didn't make you feel like it was the end of the world if you made a small mistake. If you can talk to someone, maybe someone that has left the group, that would be really helpful because they will give you the insights of the group and you can see where your personality would fit best. But I will say this is really important because it can either make or break your summer. And the last thing, kind of an obvious one, but you actually do learn a lot. I always mention the 10,000 hours concept from Atomic Habits. Basically says that to be successful or to be one of the best at anything, you have to put in 10,000 hours. And I think banking is a job that makes you put in the 10,000 hours a lot faster. And it's pretty impressive, honestly, because I only worked for 10 weeks and I feel like I learned a lot. Imagine if you do it for 1, 2, 3, 5, even 10 years. Can't even imagine. So yeah, keep saying it in interviews because it is true. And if this is why you want to do the job, I think you're in the right path. But that's all I had for today. If you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you next Wednesday. Peace.